Hi there, my name is Alexander and I'm here with my owner's review of the 5th generation BMW 3 Series. So this car was available model years 2006 through 2011. This one's an E90, that's the sedan. You could also get it as a wagon, the E91, coupe E92, and the retractable hardtop E93. This is a 2006 example. I've owned it for just over 2 years, but if you're shopping for them, in 2009, it got a mid-cycle refresh, what they call life cycle impulse or something like that. You can tell those apart because they have new headlamps, new tail lamps, and bumpers. And from the inside, there are a bunch of new features. But for the most part, they are the same. This one's also a 325i. That means it has a 3-liter inline-six and rear-wheel drive. In the US, I think this is the base model. You could get a 323 in Canada that had a 2.5-liter inline-six and the beefiest 330. But in 2007, they got new engines and the numbers changed a little bit. This generation is available with a lot of really cool options. This one doesn't have most of them, but note that they don't always correlate with the engine, so just don't expect it to have all the features just because it's a 330 or a 335. But this is a good example of the standard that you can kind of expect in this car. So it has all the normal car things like remote keyless entry, power windows, decent stereo, cruise control. It doesn't have like the iDrive screen or power seats or leather seats. Those are all available, but you have to kind of like pick through the ones that are for sale where you live. So this one has like the middle of the range headlamps for the pre-LCI model. So you could get the standard halogens, but if you want those little halo lights or the angel eyes, you have to get the ones with the xenons. There is a proximity key, like smart unlock option. It's called Comfort Access. This one also doesn't have that. So what you do is you just unlock the car like you would on like any normal remote control. But then you insert the key in the dash. You have to push it in, and then the wheel unlocks, and then you just put your foot on the brake, press the button, and kind of reverse to turn it off. A big difference you'll notice when shopping around is ones that have iDrive and ones that don't. So the dashboard setup is a little bit different on each. This one has like a little cubby in the middle where the remote goes. But I know a lot of people like screens in cars. They look really modern. But the standard stereo is very much just like a radio. But the iDrive kind of integrates a lot of like your HVAC settings, and you get a lot more specific control over things with iDrive, and also the sound. So there's this one just like makes normal car sounds, just like little dings. But they made a bunch of custom sounds for the ones with iDrive, so they make these little chime noises that are really cute. One thing I definitely recommend when shopping around is to take a look at a brochure from when they were new. I'll put a link in the bio to where I look at mine. But they give you a really good overview of what options were available, kind of what option combinations you're likely to find, and things to look out for if there's something specific that you want. I like to think the styling has aged really well. Of the Bangle era BMWs, this one seems to be the most refined or the least reviled. I quite like all of them personally, but the design language of this one kind of carried over into the next generation, the F30. So a lot of people think it's newer than it is. Either way, I get a lot of compliments on it, which is kind of nice. The proportions are really good, but has a very kind of clear 3-box shape, and the hood is really long, and it just has presence wherever it is. Somehow, a lot of people notice the little LED puddle lamps. They're mounted underneath the door handles, and they light up when you unlock the car. And they look really slick at nighttime, and they help you kind of see what's going on. And then the front doors have the puddle lamps underneath as well. For the earlier years, the 323 and the 325 have black trim in the grille and around the windows. The 330 had the kind of satin finish or chrome. I've got 2 sets of wheels on this car. My winters are on the 17 inches that came with the 325. But the previous owner got these, they're called Style 162 that came or that were available on the 330, and they look so good. They have this kind of like dished in kind of look. So I always look forward to when I can put my summer wheels on. You do notice a difference in how they drive. So it's a little more sporty with the 18 inches, but the 17 inches are run flats, and they don't ruin the ride, but they think they make it feel a little more similar. They just have a little bit of kind of like that wobbly feel you have with like a higher sidewall. So the interior is actually probably what sold me on the car. If you're looking at something in this price range, you'd be really hard pressed to find something with a nicer interior, I think. One thing that was really important to me when I was shopping around was the interior materials. And basically everything in arm's reach is really nice. So there are all these kind of soft touch plastics or upholstered materials, even down to the base of the door. Like the center console goes straight from the soft touch textured material to the carpet. Even the F30s have like a hard plastic on the center console there. There are no real hard touch plastics in reach, which I think is really special. Another little thing is the stocks. I guess like everything you interact with, really. As with most German cars, they're really thoughtful about all the buttons. So they all take like about the same pressure to activate, and they all have like a very similar feel. And the stocks are kind of confusing when like the first time you get in, but you get used to them really fast, and they always return to center, and they have these little stopping points. And I find now when I drive cars that don't have them, it makes me just like a little sad. Depending on your price range and how much you care, you can get some really neat interior colors. And even the material that stretches across the dash and the console. This one has just like a metal effect plastic. But you can get this brushed aluminum. The M Sport models that come with a bunch of other cool features, but they have like this crosshatch pattern textured aluminum that looks really cool. But there's also like a dark wood and like a lighter walnut. And I really like wood in cars, but I think a lot of people kind of find the metal look to be a little more modern. The back seat is not big, but for two people, it is also not bad. I can sit behind myself in relative comfort. And I've taken this car on road trips with 4 people and all their stuff, and it's handled it really well. Space-wise, pro tip: if you are especially tall, look for one that doesn't have the sunroof. The person who previously owned this car was well over 6 feet. And the only reason he fits in this one is because it doesn't have the sunroof. Not much in the way of covered storage. There's a little bin in here. It's big enough for, I just put a sunglasses case in there. The glove box is pretty large, and it has this nice felt lining, and it comes down nice and slow. But beyond that, there's just the door bins, and there's an ashtray slot. If after the mid-cycle refresh, it's just kind of like a little hole. The trunk is not huge, but it's big enough for like the things of 4 people for a weekend. There is no spare tire, but there's a small cubby underneath. You also have split folding seats and like a trunk pass-through. And the trunk pass-through has this like a ski bag that is like one of the most thoroughly designed things I've ever seen in a car. The driving dynamics are really what the 3 Series is known for. The best way to really describe it is confident. You're very certain in what the car is able to do, and you feel very connected. And you know you have the control or the speed or whatever you need to pass or to have fun on a road that has curves. All the roads in my region are pin straight. But when there's a little curve that's like by my house or on one highway that I use like 3 times a year. So if you live in a place that has good driving roads, I think this car could be really rewarding. On this standard suspension setup, it's not at the expense of ride comfort, though. It is very refined on the highway. You do feel bumps for sure, but they're not that intrusive, and the car never really feels unsettled. Highway driving is actually one of the most rewarding things about the car, because I really like the cruise control. It has it in like 10 kilometer an hour increments. Being one of the entry level engines for this market, it's not especially powerful, but like most of the time I'm driving alone with nothing in it. So I have more than enough power to pass someone at 100 kilometers an hour, or accelerate to get around somebody, or even just to like have fun. It is adequate. Some people in my region are concerned about driving a car with rear wheel drive, but you have nothing to worry about really. Um, the stability control is really good at keeping you in line. Like some people find it a bit heavy-handed, but there are 3 modes, so you can dial it back a little bit. But it's definitely added a sense of safety sometimes. But if you are concerned, make sure you have good winter tires. The X-Drive model is available if you want to have a little more confidence in putting the power on the road. Now, this one has the automatic transmission, and I was coming from a manual, and I really enjoyed it. But I actually bought this one from a friend, and it just happened to be available. So I wasn't actually looking for a 3 Series specifically. But rest assured that the automatic is really good. It always knows what gear I want to be in. In its regular D setting, it's geared for smoothness, and it's really good at like kind of wafting away from a stoplight. If you've ever driven an S-Class or anything like that, it feels very similar, and it just kind of rolls into the power. No matter how you really like press down the accelerator, it always has a way of making it kind of elegant. But the Sport Gate is a lot of fun too. So that will still kind of smooth it out a little bit, but it's way more aggressive, and it's quicker to shift down. And that one's a lot of fun too. And especially with the smaller engine, I always use it when I want to pass, or if I have to get off the line quickly, or again, just for fun. Now, from an ownership experience side, these cars are not expensive to buy, and compared to other things in the price range, they're really good cars. Like they're very thoroughly engineered, and like I said, the interior is nice, and they're great to drive. But the real cost isn't up front; it's just cost of ownership. Now, there are a lot of stereotypes about BMWs being nightmares to own and woefully unreliable, especially this engine series, I found. But I won't get into it too much, because so much of that depends on the example you're looking at, and how it's been cared for over time. If you can get your hands on an old copy of the Consumer Reports magazine, they have really good data about reliability of this car over time. So certain years are definitely better than others. This year has a big black dot for unreliability, but that's again dependent on the owners and the equipment and the engines. As always, with like when you're buying a used car, like make sure you have it inspected by somebody you trust. Take a look at its maintenance records. Fuel economy, it runs premium. I do a lot of highway driving, so it's about 8.9 average most of the time. Some like depends on how aggressive I'm driving. Sometimes it's like 9.1, but that definitely changes if you do more city driving. A noteworthy quirk if you live in a colder climate is that this car does not like the cold very much. The battery's in the trunk, and the battery was replaced shortly before I got it, but it definitely struggles to start if it's been colder than -20 for like more than 24 or 48 hours. So definitely if it's cold, like start it a couple times, or have a pair of jumper cables with you. And there's no spot for a block heater, so your only real option is like an oil pan heater, but I haven't gone to that. An aspect of being very thoroughly engineered is that everything about the car is very complicated, difficult to service yourself if that's something you plan on doing. There is a good community of people who like make how-tos and videos servicing their own E90s, so it's definitely doable. I have neither the interest nor the time to maintain my own car, so I have a mechanic I trust. He also owns an E90, and he's been really good. There are absolutely cars that are cheaper to run if that's what you're looking for. I ended up buying a Lexus as a daily just for cost of ownership reasons, and I'll probably do a video about that one as well. But there's a noticeable difference in just kind of like feeling and general engineering. In summary, the car is excellent in many ways, especially a lot of ways that are important to me. And the car is definitely not without its problems. Not in like the car itself, just like it will present problems to you. But honestly, I've really enjoyed owning this car. And this is just a basic one. So there are so many more things to enjoy on better spec models. I think you really have to experience the car either to like get what I'm saying when I say I enjoy it so much, or to like get a feel for whether or not that's something you really need or something you're looking for. As with any used car purchase, there are risks involved, and the risks are always unique to the car you're looking at. But I think as long as you do your homework and have it thoroughly inspected, you could have a really enjoyable car on your hands for a period of your life. I know I really wanted something that was German, and I was still in university, and this car was available at a very reasonable price. And despite the challenges and the cost of maintenance, I think I would totally do it again. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. I know I got a lot of requests to do another review after the one for my Honda, but I have very little free time. And that video was very much put together with the help of my friend Kyle from New Measure Media, and he has an education in content creation. So I'm sorry if the quality here took a bit of a hit, but if you'd like to see more of these, definitely let me know. I might be able to make it more of a priority. If you feel so inclined, you are beyond welcome to click the little subscribe button. I have a lot of video ideas that I could do about this car or about my other cars, and maybe even non-car things. I'm interested in a lot of very specific subject matter, but yeah, I look forward to seeing you again, maybe, and I hope you have a great day.